Welcome to the Hiscall Technology Podcast, where we are communicating tomorrow's business needs today. From just outside Nashville, Tennessee, join Hiscall as we discuss all things telephony, data, and infrastructure related to business leaders. Here we go.
This is Chuck, your host for the Hiscall Technology Podcast. Today will be a slightly different format from previous episodes. We have no guest today. This episode of the podcast is a follow-up to the episode 4 we recorded earlier in the year with Mitel. In that episode, we discussed some new features and even a few roadmap items for those considering the migration from ShoreTel 14.2 and earlier to Mitel MiVoice Connect. We mentioned in that episode some of the full-width switches are no longer compatible with MiVoice Connect. We also briefly talked about Mitel's new ST series switches, the Teamwork application, 6900 series phones, and the Connect client. With many customers still on legacy ShoreTel releases that are at end of life, on this episode I want to go into more detail on what this means for customers and a few additional benefits of MiVoice Connect. But the primary topic of discussion is more technical and procedural, migrating from these legacy releases to MiVoice Connect. The legacy releases of ShoreTel are end of life. ShoreTel 14.2 is the last release prior to currently supported Connect versions. Mitel initiated the end of sale and end of life process for ShoreTel 14.2, older voice switches, and the VPN concentrator in an initial announcement dated January 31st, 2017. There have been some revisions to the original announcement. Without getting into all the dates, know that ShoreTel 14.2 software, Enterprise Contact Center version 9, and Mobility version 8, pre-ST series switches are now end of sale. On December 31st of this year, ShoreTel 14.2, ECC 9, and Mobility version 8 will reach end of life, joining the full-width SG series switches and VPN concentrator. Mitel defines end of life as best effort technical support for catastrophic failures and critical issues only. This means effective January 1st, 2020, ShoreTel 14.2, ECC 9, and Mobility 8 will be end of life with no design support, and any support for catastrophic failures or critical issues will be on a best effort basis. After this date, Mitel will no longer provide service packs, bug fixes, or security updates. With the impending end of life on the horizon, it's important to migrate legacy systems for continuity of active support. As we mentioned on episode 4, all customers with active Mitel support agreements are always entitled to upgrades to the latest Mitel MiVoice Connect release at no charge for the software. Mitel's done a good job here of not only protecting a customer's investment in ShoreTel hardware and software, but has included enhancement to software features when a customer migrates to Connect. For example, your existing licensing is preserved, and Mitel has included additional features and functionality when migrating to MiVoice Connect. Customers migrating from ShoreTel 14.2 to Connect are entitled to functionality that required the purchase of additional licenses in 14.2. For the migration, your account team will verify current licenses are in compliance before ordering the migration license. Your Mitel partner will initiate the request for the upgraded licenses from Mitel, and you will receive licenses for all UC applications in the MiVoice Connect Essential License Bundle for all extension and mailbox, extension only, and mailbox only licenses on active Mitel support in their customer asset list. Depending on your customer asset list, additional license keys and entitlements could include Connect Desktop Client, Soft Phone, Standard Resolution Video, Mobile Client, Web Dialer, and right to use the Connect telephony for Microsoft and Connect for Chrome application. To take advantage of any additional MiVoice Connect functionality, such as remote phone, CRM integration, workgroup, or operator, you may need a license bundle uplift from Essentials. Let's talk a bit about Connect licensing. Connect introduced licensing bundles that simplifies purchasing and creates additional value. There are 5 license bundles. The most basic license is the Courtesy, which is an extension-only license and includes no Connect client license. This is good for common area phones, such as lobby phones. Next is the telephony bundle. It includes an extension and mailbox, but does not include a Connect client license. This would be good for a user that requires an IP phone extension and voicemail, but will not be using the desktop application. The Essentials bundle includes the extension and mailbox license, like the telephony bundle, but also includes the Connect client for use as a soft phone, video calling, instant messaging, and presence. It also includes your Microsoft Office and G Suite integrations, as well as the mobile application. Next up is the Standard bundle. It includes all of the essential features and adds remote phone license for use with the Edge Gateway that was introduced with MiVoice Connect. Also, it includes the Salesforce CRM integrations. The last bundle is the Advanced bundle. It includes all of the features of the Standard bundle, but adds operator and workgroup functionality for agents and supervisors. While we're talking about workgroup functionality, if you are a customer with a heavy business dependency on the Mitel Workgroup Monitor application, you should delay the migration to MiVoice Connect. The application is not supported with current MiVoice Connect builds. The Mitel team is working to correct this, however. In addition to protecting investment in software, much of the existing ShoreTel hardware will work on Connect. However, the full width SG series switches, including the SG40, SG60, SG120, the SG-T1 and E1, are end of life and they're no longer included in the latest release of MiVoice Connect. It's no longer possible to update any systems that include one of or more of these switches to latest versions of MiVoice Connect software. The other SG series switches remain supported, but are no longer available for purchase. Mitel continues to provide full support of these switches with updates and bug fixes in MiVoice Connect releases, TAC assistance, and RMA service for a minimum of 5 years from the end of add-on sales, which was June 30th, 2018. Another advantage of Connect is the new ST series switches, but these switches are only compatible with Connect and will not work with the legacy releases. With the inability to purchase new SG series switches and ST series switches not compatible with legacy releases, you're limited in your ability to grow and expand your system until you're on Connect. During the pre-sales process, your account team will assess your individual needs to determine the most appropriate replacement switch for any end-of-life products. You have the option to replace end-of-life SG series with physical switches or virtual IP phone or SIP trunk switches. In addition to assessing the appropriate switch replacements, your account team will also consider requirements for any Mitel advanced application or third-party applications requiring updates for compatibility with MiVoice Connect. You should confirm that any Mitel professional services applications or third-party applications are updated to versions that are compatible with MiVoice Connect. The migration to MiVoice Connect is not as straightforward as previous ShoreTel upgrades or updates you may have completed in the past. There are some things that must be taken into consideration. This migration process must be performed in lockstep for the phone system, enterprise contact center, and/or mobility. After upgrading ShoreTel 14.2 and the client, you must upgrade the contact center and mobility systems and related client applications, such as contact center supervisor applications and Connect for mobile clients within the same maintenance window. Let's review some of the differences between ShoreTel 14.2 and MiVoice Connect that you should be aware. We talked about some of this on episode 4, but you should be aware of some key differences between the communicator client on ShoreTel 14.2 and the MiVoice Connect client. It's important to review and discuss these differences with your account team before beginning the migration preparation or upgrade steps. For example, if you've created a favorite group in Communicator, you'll want to rename this group before migrating to Connect. The Connect client contains a favorites group at install, and if you have not renamed your favorites group in Communicator prior to upgrade, you may lose that data. Also, before migrating from Communicator to Connect client, delete all the speed dial numbers you have configured in Communicator. If you do not delete the speed dial numbers before the migration, these numbers will be stored in the Connect database, but you cannot access these speed dial numbers on the Connect client. When you receive an incoming call from a number where the assigned name has been changed after the migration, the Connect client might still display the old name assigned to the speed dial number as stored in the database before the migration. Also, be aware that personal call routing rules that you defined in Communicator will migrate to Connect client, but these routing rules might not work as you expect. Beginning with MiVoice Connect, password strength requirements are significantly more strict to help protect your phone system. Upon first login to MiVoice Connect Director, the Connect client, the Connect for Mobile client, and the MiVoice Contact Center system, you might be prompted to change your password or get an indication that your password has expired. And it's likely due to the existing passwords that migrated over to the new system not adhering to the strength requirements of MiVoice Connect. Just simply follow the prompts to reset the passwords. The administration guide has a good write-up and additional details about the new password policy and configuring passwords in MiVoice Connect. If you have deployed a service appliance for audio and web conferencing, be aware that the update to MiVoice Connect includes a change in the conference bridge that does not migrate current recordings, and you must archive any recordings you want to keep. Prior to migrating from Communicator to Connect client, you'll download the service appliance recordings made with Communicator and save them to a local system. The downloaded recordings cannot be played in the new Connect client, but you can use a Flash-enabled web browser to play them. When reservation list conferences migrate from ShoreTel Communicator to Connect client, users who had a reservation list conference that was previously configured in Communicator and who are assigned to a service appliance will have a reservation list conference created during migration, and the settings defined previously will remain valid. While access codes on a migrated reservation list conference remain valid, the when dialing out to participants parameter in the event screen will always be set to must press 1 to enter audio portion of the meeting, regardless if the conference was previously configured with participants are automatically added to the audio portion of the meeting. Users who do not have a reservation list conference previously configured in Communicator but who are assigned to a service appliance will have a reservation list conference created during migration, and the settings defined previously will remain valid. Users who do not have a reservation list conference previously configured in Communicator and who are not assigned to a service appliance will not have a reservation list conference created during migration. Let's now talk through the migration process. To prepare your system for the upgrade to MiVoice Connect, you'll need to complete some steps during the weeks before the migration leading up to the day of the migration. In the weeks before the migration, you'll need to evaluate and schedule your organization's training needs. End-user training is necessary due to the changes in operation and differences between the Communicator client and the new Connect client. Users need to understand these differences and be instructed on the personal data they must back up or change to avoid loss during the migration to MiVoice Connect. Hiscall has successfully helped customers by providing links to recorded training that's helpful for end users getting up to speed with the Connect client and the changes prior to migration, and they're able to take it when it's convenient for them. Talk to your account or project team to determine the training approach that best meets the needs of your organization. Administrator training is also recommended because of major differences in the administrative interfaces in MiVoice Connect. We can usually get this covered in a short training session with your technical team. At a high level, the migration process begins with the servers, then the switches, IP phones, and finally the clients. Prior to migration to Connect, any servers with 32-bit operating systems will need to be upgraded to a 64-bit operating system. And the Mitel build notes detail the supported OSs. Your ShoreTel 14.2 installation must also be running on the same platform of hardware and OS that will be used for your MiVoice Connect installation. If your ShoreTel 14.2 system is not running on the same platform that will be used for MiVoice Connect, you must move your ShoreTel 14.2 system to the appropriate platform prior to starting the migration process. The common platform for ShoreTel 14.2 and MiVoice Connect is Windows Server 2012 R2 64-bit. Subsequent OS upgrades, such as Windows Server 2016, can only be completed after the migration to Connect is complete. So this may require multiple phases. We need to get ShoreTel 14.2 and MiVoice Connect on the common platform of Windows Server 2012 before migrating Connect to Server 2016. In addition to the common platform, your ShoreTel 14.2 installation should also use the same drive. For example, drive C or drive D that will be used for your MiVoice Connect installation. If you want to install MiVoice Connect on a drive that is different from the drive where ShoreTel 14.2 system is installed, for example, change from drive C to drive D, before the migration, you must change the drive of ShoreTel 14.2 system to the new target drive. This process involves moving all of the relevant files from the original or source file system to the new target file system. Andy mentioned this tool on the previous podcast. We will run the compatibility checker from MiVoice Connect installation package on the headquarters server and correct any resulting database issues. We will continue to run the compatibility checker after each database correction until it returns no errors. We will also run the compatibility checker on the DVSs and correct any errors found there. We'll confirm that the headquarters server has available drive space. As a best practice, Mitel recommends that 40 gigabyte of storage be available for the migration process, but we'll ensure that at least 30 gig is available. In order to clean up the database, we would like for you to delete any abandoned, unplugged phones from Director. Hiscall will download the Microsoft updates as per the Connect build notes. Due to schema change between MySQL 5.1 and MySQL 5.6, you will need to remove any customizations you may have defined for your CDR and restore the CDR to the default configuration before migrating. After migration, you can re-implement the customizations. Due to this schema change, the Connect installer prompts you to take a backup of your CDR prior to beginning the upgrade. To streamline the process of upgrading the CDR with these schema changes, the Connect installer includes an offline CDR migration that runs in the background after the Connect installation is complete. Once the installation of Connect is complete and while the CDR offline migration process is running, you will be able to report against the new CDR data that is accumulated while the PBX is running, but you will not be able to report against the old CDR data. If the CDR offline migration fails, the system cannot be upgraded or patched. The migration must be completed successfully and temporary migration services must be deleted prior to applying any patches or hotfixes. These services are deleted automatically upon the successful completion of the CDR offline migration. If the CDR offline migration process continues beyond midnight, no data will be archived for the day in which the migration process began. In this scenario, archive will resume at midnight the day after the migration began. The boot ROM for the SG half-width switches should be 1.1.3.29 or higher. If the boot ROM version is lower than 1.1.3.29, we will upgrade the boot ROM prior to upgrading the ShoreTel 14.2 system to MiVoice Connect. We will confirm that TLS 1.0 is enabled on all ShoreTel 14.2 servers. Mitel 400 series IP phones and other solution components in MiVoice Connect require TLS 1.0 for connectivity. TLS 1.0 is enabled by default on Windows servers, but sometimes administrators disable it. As we get closer to the day of the migration, you will want to download any recorded conferences from your service appliances. In ShoreTel 14.2 Director, we will use the batch update utility to change all personal licenses to professional licenses. On the day of the upgrade, we'll back up the ShoreTel 14.2 system. The configuration database, CDR database, WebBridge database, and other data will be copied to a safe location prior to migration. For the migration, you must disable Active Directory integration in ShoreTel 14.2 prior to upgrading to MiVoice Connect. We'll install the recommended Microsoft server updates on the HQ server as indicated in the build notes. We will need to disable antivirus software and the Windows firewall on the HQ server. If the ShoreTel 14.2 headquarters server is running the BrightMetrics agent for BrightMetrics reports, we will want to stop the service and change the startup type to disabled. On the HQ server, we'll run the setup script on the HQ server. The duration of the upgrade depends on the server performance, but the upgrade process could take in excess of an hour. After the upgrade completes, we will reboot the HQ server. After the reboot completes, we will perform some checks to verify that Director loads correctly. We will then upgrade the DVS software. For every DVS in your system, we'll need to perform similar steps of installing the recommended Microsoft server updates as indicated in the Mitel build notes on the DVSs. We will disable the antivirus software and the Windows firewall on the DVS servers. We'll run the setup.exe on the DVSs, and when prompted, we'll reboot the DVSs. Once they have come back online, we'll verify that the installation process completed with no errors. At this point, we will address the voice switch appliances. The end-of-life switches will be replaced as needed. For each existing appliance in your system, we will select a number of switches to upgrade at a time. Each appliance will reboot, reset, and reboot to complete the upgrade process. If your ShoreTel 14.2 installation uses virtual appliances, VMware administrative access must be available on the day of migration to enable a SCSI controller change that is necessary for virtual appliances. When you upgrade existing virtual appliances, the vPhone, vTrunk, and the virtual collaboration appliance, from ShoreTel 14.2 to MiVoice Connect, they are migrated from Wind River Linux to CentOS. In addition to supporting VMware, CentOS provides the capability to support Microsoft Hyper-V. The upgrade for virtual appliances during the migration process requires a type change for the SCSI controller in VMware for the CentOS. When every Mitel switch is upgraded and online, we will confirm that 400 series IP phones are upgrading to the latest MiVoice Connect firmware for 400 series IP phones. In MiVoice Connect, by default, 400 series IP phones are upgraded automatically. We'll upgrade any MGCP phones by using the commands on the IP phones status page. When all IP phones are online, we'll do some testing of basic call functionality for internal calls, external calls, work groups, voicemail, etc. With the servers and switches and IP phones upgraded, you will push or manually install the Connect Client software. You can obtain the Connect Client installation package from Mitel support site or from the Connect director. Users will be prompted to reset their passwords. Also, the installation package will remove the installed instances of the communicator client. Once complete, we will need to regenerate self-signed certificates on any service appliance. If you are using a global URL and self-signed certificates on your service appliance, you must regenerate self-signed certificates for your appliance after migrating to MiVoice Connect. After the HQ, DVS, and appliance upgrades, we'll re-enable antivirus software and Windows Firewall on servers where necessary. We'll restore the archived databases by stopping all services except for MySQL, and then use MySQL command lines and batch files to restore the archived databases. After restoring the archived databases, we'll restart services and check the status in the servers page of diagnostics and monitoring. Can then implement any MySQL customizations you may have defined for your CDR that we removed before the migration. If you had any extensions configured for recording auto attendant prompts and workgroup names, this setting is not carried over during the migration. You will need to reconfigure this setting in the Connect director after the upgrade is complete. If the Bright Metrics agent was disabled prior to migration, open Windows Administrative Tools and then open Services. Right-click the Bright Metrics service and select Properties. Start the service and change the startup type to automatic. If you have Enterprise Contact Center or Mobility, they will be upgraded at this time. After the upgrade, Mitel MiVoice Connect automatically generates a Headquarters Root Certificate Authority certificate when the system is first installed. This root CA signs various certificates used by voice switches, servers, and phones. The root CA certificate is preserved when you migrate from ShoreTel 14.2 to MiVoice Connect, but the root CA certificate in 14.2 uses the SHA-1 algorithm, which is being phased out for security reasons. Therefore, after the migration process, we must rebuild the headquarters root CA certificate to use the SHA-256 algorithm. But prior to making the certificate change, we want to verify call functionality in the newly migrated MiVoice Connect system. For larger systems with 1,000 or more users, Mitel best practice dictates 3 to 4 hours of stability to confirm correct system connectivity before rebuilding the certificates to use SHA-256. So depending on time constraints, the certificate change to SHA-256 may require scheduling another maintenance window days or weeks after the migration to complete this procedure. Finally, be advised Mitel recommends that you not run port scans against Mitel appliances in MiVoice Connect. Running network port scans against Mitel appliances can cause an issue in which phones assigned to scanned appliances go to a no service state for a short period of time, from a few seconds to a few minutes. I know this has been a little longer than normal and a lot of technical and procedural type information, but I hope that you will find it helpful in making a decision to migrate to MiVoice Connect or in preparing for your migration. Thank you for joining this episode of the Hiscall Technology Podcast. As we close out today, as always, don't be afraid, only believe.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Hiscall Technology Podcast. Subscribe to this podcast so you can stay up to date with today's business communication trends. To learn more about Hiscall solutions for your business needs or to listen to previous podcasts, visit us at our website, hiscall.com.